Welcome in, everybody. We're gonna get started here on another World of Warcraft cookbook stream. Although this recipe is not going to be in the cookbook, we are going to be making a recipe that comes basically from not in the cookbook. We are making ourselves a spiced cake Loa Loaf. So it's going to be a Loa Loaf that we're going to be celebrating here from the new Battle for Azeroth expansion. Obviously, the cookbook does not have anything from the BFA expansion, so I'm just putting it upon myself to just make something. We are going to be making a Bundt cake. That's going to be a spiced cake. And then we're going to be doing a rum frosting on top that's going to go over it. And it's going to be absolutely delicious. The recipe for the cake will be up on the Wowhead website. It's going to have a post of its own where you will have a chance after today to win an additional World of Warcraft cookbook if you so desire. Wait, where am I looking for? Okay, so I need flour, I need spices. Let's bake a cake, you guys. So first things first, let's go ahead and get our oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. 2.5 cups of flour. Ooh, excuse me. So that was our half cup. Here is 1 cup. That's cup number 1. Cup number 2, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Check. So we did our baking powder. Let's go ahead and do our 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay. All right, that's in there. So we're gonna need 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Check. I can totally do that. So here's the 1/4 that I have available already. 3/4 teaspoon of salt has been added, and we are all done with these. I can put these back over there. There's a 1.5 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then we're gonna need a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Check. All right. There's the allspice. All right, what else are we gonna need? A 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. So there's our 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. Okay, so we have our 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves has just gone into our container here, and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg is next. Our nutmeg here, 1/4 teaspoon nutmeg has been added in. So we have our dry ingredients all together prepared and placed in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a thin wire whisk and we're going to sift all the ingredients together evenly. So this gives us a nice consistency throughout the entirety of our cake here. So we get those spices not clumped up in a certain portion of the cake more than others. Sifting here like this will make sure that we get more evenly distributed spices. All right, so the next phase of our plan is about to commence. All right, so we're gonna cream in this one. So let's go ahead and just measure that out. Let me zero that up. Let me measure out 5 ounces. How many is in here? That is 4, so I need 1 more ounce. I need 1/4 of this stick. 5, okay, good enough. All right, so we can leave this alone for our next phase of our plan coming up. Okay, and we're gonna see how much that weighs. 7.5 ounces of white sugar. 1/3 cup of sugar is 2 ounces. 2 ounces. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves ready to start creaming up our butter and sugar. We're gonna take the paddle attachments to our, hang on 1 second. Yeah, we're gonna take the paddle attachments to our hand mixer here because I want to make you guys understand that you don't actually need a KitchenAid stand mixer to make good food. We're gonna go ahead and start slowly. What we're gonna do here is we're taking our butter, lightening it up, mixing it in with the sugar, and what we're gonna do is start slowly. When you have softened butter already, this job becomes easy. So it's gonna look grainy, it's gonna look mealy, it's gonna look like there's no way this is gonna turn light and fluffy. Have some patience and let this run through for a while. All right, so we're raising the temperature. Look, we're getting that white, light fluffiness, finally. We have our creamed butter and sugar mixture. Let me go get a spatula so we can go ahead and clean this up. Oh, so we have these big old clumps of like brown sugar. So let's go ahead and find some more clumps of brown sugar that might be stuck together because we don't need that. So we have this nice creamed butter sugar mixture. Looks like that's all the ones that were like that. That's good. So I actually have to put in eggs in here. So when you're adding in eggs to a cake recipe or a cookie recipe, super duper important, guys, add in the eggs one at a time, okay? So there's the first egg going in. Let me go ahead and scoop this all. There we go. Okay, second egg going in. Awesome. Okie dokie. Before I continue on forward, there was one step that I forgot to do. We got to go ahead and spray our we got to spray our Bundt pan, make sure that we get some non-stick in there. All right, so we have ourselves our non-stick spray. I have like the really crazy serious business non-stick spray. Bought this thing off Amazon. It's amazing. So we're gonna use this thing. There we go. And we're gonna make sure that we spray the sides, and we did, so everything's coated in non-stick spray. So we're gonna have a freaking tea here that we're not gonna have to battle our Bundt pan because it's holding our cake hostage, if that makes any sense. All right, so let's go ahead and measure out the 1 1/4 cups low-fat buttermilk. And we're good. All right. Awesome. So we have this, and then we are supposed to mix it with our vanilla extract. So let's go ahead and get our 2 teaspoons vanilla extract up in here. Nice. So I had to crack open a new container of vanilla bean paste because I finally got through another container. I just have to last for like a couple of years, that's all. All right, so there's 1, and I'm using vanilla bean paste because I'm a vanilla snob. Oh boy. So I'm gonna whisk this together really quick. Make sure that all mixes in evenly as well. There's another brown sugar bit right there we don't need. Ooh, there's 2 of them. All right, so now we have to add in our flour mixture and then our buttermilk, flour, buttermilk, flour. So we're starting with flour, ending in flour for our mixture to mix together with our creamed sugar and butter mixture. So we're gonna start with here. We are going to be adding in right now 1/3 of our flour mixture. There's 1 section done. And then we're gonna add in half the butter cream mixture. And then mixing that in. Oh, let me get this out of the way. So I'm gonna stop with the mixer, and I'm gonna go in and finish off with my spatula here. That's just me. You can just stop here. So we're gonna go ahead and spoon in, and of course, you know, it's gonna, because the batter's so thick, we're gonna have to do this in sections here. Spoon in our cake batter into the Bundt pan. Go, just make sure we place our batter here. Wherever it is eating more, is that there. Be careful in the middle. Okay, so one second here. I clean this up. All right, I'm gonna grab this on the spatula, on the sides of the bowls, on the rim of the bowls. All right, you can take a spatula here. I'm gonna use a small spatula. We're using nothing. What's up, buddy? How you doing? All right, so we're going to go ahead and take our small spatula here. And we're gonna go around and just make sure we even out our cake batter here into even proportions and make sure this batter, nice flat surface, and batter all the way again, so we have ourselves a cake. Okay, so tap, tap, jiggle, jiggle. Take some air holes, and then we're just going to go in air holes. This is a thick recipe, so yeah, this is going to have some air holes in here. That's okay, so to me. So nice tap, tap, jiggle, jiggle will help you out to make sure that we have less air holes. We're lowering our chances here, so this is nice. All right, so this is nice and even as much as I can all around. Okay, so we're gonna be baking our cake on here just to avoid anything getting messy while we're trying to pull it out of the oven. And we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven for, I forgot how long we said we were gonna do it for. I wrote on my notes. Here we are. Alrighty, so here is our finished product, although we are not done with it. So obviously there was a big rise in there. Alrighty, so we're gonna pick this up. There we go, it'll just cool a lot faster. Alright, so there's our half cup of sugar. Alright guys, here we are, adding in our 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of butter. So we added a little bit of salt, maybe a little extra salt because I want to give it a nice salted caramel thing going on. And we'll go ahead and mix this in. We're going to start it on the lowish heat so that we can make sure none of this goes out of control. We have the butter to keep the sugar from really crystallizing and stuff. So just leave it alone. There we are. So yeah, we got to hit this at the boiling point until smooth. Yeah, that is a caramel sauce right there if I've ever seen one. Oh wow, you can do it already. Never mind, here it is. So we have air holes. That was my fault. This was probably a brown sugar bust. But for the most part, it's a really good cake. Looks really good. Light and fluffy like the way I wanted. It's not dense. We get some extra pop of flavor from the brown sugar rum sauce, which is actually pretty freaking good. But we did it, guys. We freaking did it. We made our Loa Loaf the way I imagined the Zandalari would like it. I could be wrong. It could have been more of a spiced bread and less of a cake loaf, but I figured, hey, Bundt pan, Bundt cake, why not?